Here, I want to address Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill. For those of you who don't know, Lauryn Hill is a decorated singer, artist, and recently she took what most people would perceive to be a crap on her fans when she basically showed up to a show and said, hey, look, I know I'll be late to all of my shows, but I don't care about none of that shit. Y'all should be lucky that I'm even showing up and I'm on this stage right now. This is what she said. I'm not making this up. This is what she said. And when I initially heard the comments, I said, Lauryn Hill, you've got some nerve. The audacity of you. You put out an album, a classic album, albeit. A classic album in 1998 when I was just 5 years old. I was born in 1993. You put out a classic album when I was 5 years old in 1998. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It is 25 years later and you are still living off that one album. And you have the nerve to look people in their face and tell them after they paid to come to your show that they should be lucky and thankful that you even showed up because you are consistently tardy? I mean, you got to be out of your mind. But you know what? That was my initial reaction. But then I took a step back and I said, only thing I ask out of people in life is to show up as whoever you are, wherever you're at in your point in life consistently. Lauryn Hill spoke honestly and authentically from the heart. I might not agree with what she said, but I respect the fact that that's what she felt in that moment and she let her fans have it. Now, if they continue to support her moving forward, that's a them problem, not a her problem. But if we're really being honest, Lauryn Hill, Miss Hill, Lauren, if you're nasty, if you were really being honest, you put out an album 25 years ago and we ain't heard shit from you since. So don't try to make it seem like, oh, y'all should be lucky I'm even here because I don't have to do this when you've been missing or MIA for 25 years. And then what really bothered me about Lauryn Hill was the fact that she had the nerve to invoke God while she was giving this ridiculous speech. I hate when people do that. I'm a God-fearing man. I believe in God. But don't sit up there and say, oh, I'm here by the grace of God or God. No, don't do that. When you on bullshit time, stand up to it, own it, be accountable. Don't try to bring God into it. This how you know when somebody's lying. When somebody is lying or they know they're guilty of doing something flagrant, they will almost always drop God because that is a soft spot for most people. We got her. We got you, Lauryn Hill. Just say, yo, I don't like showing up on time, or I like to be fashionably late, or I suck at making travel accommodations. But to sit up there and make it seem like, yo, y'all should be lucky I'm even doing these shows. It's like, okay, if you don't do the show, we'll just go listen on Apple Music. Like, what am I missing here? You had an album that had some bops 25 years ago, sis. 25 years ago. It's 2023. Now, I will say, I will give Lauryn Hill credit. She's living off this album for as long as she has, and I want her to continue to make money and enjoy success. But Lauryn Hill is the Doc Rivers of music. I've never seen one coach get more out of one championship than Doc Rivers. Never seen it. Doc Rivers, and I'm not going to lie, I used to think he was a good coach because he won that title with the Celtics in 08, and the Celtics did have a lot of good seasons under Doc Rivers. But Doc Rivers is not a good coach. He's the poster child for 3-1 collapses. But most people might say Doc Rivers is probably going to make the Hall of Fame because he did get Boston a chip. He did get them to 2 finals, had them in a couple of Eastern Conference finals. So his resume looks good, but come on. Lauryn Hill, you are the Doc Rivers of music. He milked that one chip. You milked this one album. And it's going to sound like hate, but it's not hate. But you can't sit up there and tell your fans, hey, y'all should be lucky I'm on this stage, even though I'm royally late every single time. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you always late?